Good morning, you guys. It is day number 35 of my Staybatical 250. This is my 100-day journey to transform my body, my mind. And yes, we are out here on day 35 in the rain. Lots of rain in the forecast here in the South Carolina area for the next couple of days or so. So we're going to roll with it. We're not going to let a little rain slow us down. It's a little hard to hold an umbrella and hold the phone at the same time, but we're going to do it today because I'm committed to this journey. I'm committed to being successful. And you can't let a little rain get you down, right? So, good morning, guys. So yes, day 35 of my Staybatical 250. And I'm still doing all the biohacks, still feeling really good. Right ankle, still tweaking, still hurts. So this morning I'm limping like I did yesterday. But like yesterday, once I got going and the ankle got loose, it felt great by the end, and it didn't hurt at all. It's so funny. It's just kind of in the morning when this ankle thing bothers me. I hate it though, because when I feel the ankle buckling like it is right now, I tighten up my shins and I can feel that pain go through the shin. So I'm hoping that gets better the more I keep losing weight and getting fitter, and just the more I do this. So thank you guys for being here. Thanks for all your support. So I want to talk about, I'm in a lot of pain right now, so bear with me just a second. That right foot is just, I'm going downhill, so that makes it a little bit harder. It's so funny, going uphill with the bum ankle is easier. There's something about this angle of going downhill that's just like, ugh. So anyway, I want to talk about a topic here today that is related to what happened yesterday on social media. So if you were offline yesterday, you missed all the fun. I went live in the morning, right around 7:30 Eastern, finished my live, got it up on my stories, and I started to screen record so I could put it up on my YouTube channel and Facebook and all the places. And lo and behold, right in the middle of the video recording, it just stopped. I'm like, that's weird. So I start back at the beginning, and it was about 24 minutes in. And I pressed play again and record again. And again, it stopped at 24 minutes. And I'm like, this is weird. So then I go to the main page of Instagram and did what a lot of you guys did. Refresh. And you probably got something like no internet connection, unable to refresh, all this kind of stuff. And Instagram and Facebook was down all day yesterday. And so, needless to say, that kind of messed up my day, because most of the things that I do with my podcast and, of course, these videos like this are all online. And without this, where do I go? What do I do? So when things don't go your way, you need to have a game plan in mind. And this is applicable to all things in life, but because everybody experienced the great Facebook, Instagram outage of 2021 yesterday, things didn't go your way. And you might go like, okay, now what? And I want to make the argument that when things don't go your way in any given situation, you press on. And that's what I did. Yeah, I was upset. I was like, oh man, I got so many things I got to do. But you realize everybody's in the same boat. And I want you to think of your health journey in the same way. Things aren't always going to go your way on a health journey. I had no idea when I started this Staybatical to 50 that I would have back pain to start. Like major low left-hand side back was just killing me when I started on day one. And then I had that fall, which skin up my right knee, which is all healed, by the way, and twisted my left ankle, and I had that bee sting. I had a lot of things that did not go my way, and now I've got this right ankle thing that's tweaking me. And so it's easy when things don't go your way to say, well, I gave it a try, it didn't work, so I'm just going to stop. And I don't think that's ever the answer. When things don't go your way, I want you to reframe it in your mind. When things don't go your way, you say, okay, that's not the way I intended for things to go, so I'm going to try something else. And maybe the something else is even better than what you imagined to begin with. And when you start thinking of things in that way and stop assuming things need to go a certain way and no other way is acceptable, then when things don't go your way, you find another way. This is where we get into trouble. This is like what I've been talking about when you try to quantify like a journey to weight loss. A lot of people put parameters of, I have to lose X number of pounds. And when you don't get X number of pounds, you're like, I failed, And I'm like, why do that to yourself? Why do we feel like things have to only go one certain way? I have come to learn in my life that you let life come to you and be what it's going to be. It's so easy to think that you have to fall within some arbitrary parameters that you made up. You made up yourself. If you set a goal of 50 pounds to lose weight, that was all on you. Nobody told you to set that as the parameter. Nobody said that was even what you needed. That was just a desire within your heart to lose that amount of weight. But what if you were only meant to lose 35 pounds because you're going to gain enough muscle along with the body fat loss? Then you're kind of setting yourself up for failing. So when things don't go your way, you whine and complain. Woe is me. Why is this happening to me? And you don't keep going. And that's the biggest saboteur I see so many people go through on a health journey, is you give up prematurely because things aren't going your way. And so I'm here today to tell you, when they're not going your way, press on. Keep going. And as much as it hurts, as much as you feel a certain way, you just keep going. And you're going to be so glad when you get to the ultimate end of your journey. You're going to be so glad that you pressed on. And I just feel like we all need that reminder. Woo! Loud thunder. So how about you guys? You ever experienced this? Where you're in the midst of a journey, things go crazy on you, things don't quite go the way you expected them to. And you can be honest. I'll be honest with you guys. When things have gone crazy in the past on a journey, I've given up. I've been discouraged. I've allowed that not going my way. It's a sign I'm going down the wrong path. And so we convince ourselves of that. Here, I'm going to switch hands with I'm right-handed, so it's easier to hold the umbrella with the right hand. We just give up. So have you done that? Have you just given up because things weren't going the way you wanted them to? I know you have. And if you had that feeling that you wanted to give up, but then you pressed on, tell me about that experience. What was that like? When you felt like, okay, X happened to me. I didn't expect that to happen, but I kept going And man, look what happened because I kept going. Tell me your experience with this, you guys. And I can tell you many a times just in this journey of 35 days in on this sabbatical to 50, there have been many moments where things did not go my way. And sometimes that equated to me saying, okay, take a rest day, Jimmy. You don't feel great. Just take a rest day. And then I'm back the next day going strong. And if that's necessary, you do it. But, sorry, this is going to be hard with sweating, umbrella, iPhone. Only have 2 hands. But talk to me, guys. What you got for me today? Anything on this topic? Because you know sometimes things don't always go your way. Let's say you start on a keto journey, for example. And when you first start, you heard about all these people losing large amounts of weight and feeling great, having great satiety, all these good things happening for them. Blood sugar coming down. But then you go keto. You're not losing any weight. You don't have any energy. You're hungry. And you're wondering what in the world is going on. And at that point, things are going awry for you. They're not going your way. You could come to the conclusion of, this ain't working. Let me move on. And a lot of people do. A lot of people get to that point where it's just like they're not seeing results, so therefore they give up. They don't press on. Whereas if they pressed on, maybe tweaked a few things here and there in the plan that they're doing, they could see the results they want. I mean, let's look at me, for example. So, somebody's letting me cross, hang on. So for the last 4 years, I have been eating mostly carnivore. I would occasionally have, here and there, a keto food with it, but mostly carnivore. And so people say, well, just go carnivore and all of your weight and health woes will get better. My ankle is killing me, guys. I'm in a lot of pain. I'm trying to press through it, but it's not quite loosened up yet. So bear with me if I'm grimacing a lot. I'm in a whole lot of pain. But no weight has really moved of consequence. It's kind of been stagnant, even though I'm eating animal-based. So that's why I started this sabbatical to 50, was to kind of kickstart other things I can do along with the animal foods to really get this thing to start moving. And it's working. I'm seeing things move. But I could have easily said, well, things aren't going my way. I'm eating carnivore. Everybody and their mama who eats carnivore is losing weight. Why aren't I? Okay, I guess carnivore, quote, doesn't work. And I've even had people say that, well, you've been keto and carnivore for so long, you should just give it up and go vegan already, Jimmy. Those people trip me out, as if veganism is the answer. If you like your vegan diet, go for it. But my carnivore diet obliterates your vegan diet, I promise you. So you have to press on, try new things, add in new things. And I think the moral of the story is stop measuring results by one parameter and stop thinking just one input will give you all the results you want. A lot of us have to work a lot harder at getting healthy and fit than others. And so some people hate that. Some people lament that. They're like, okay, why is it so much harder for me than it is seemingly for other people? And like I said in yesterday's morning update, This is about nobody else but you. It's your journey. When you start playing the comparison game is when you think things aren't going your way. And yes, I'm out here in a thunderstorm, you guys. So if you just joined in, I am walking in the rain, and I just know one of these cars that's barreling down this road here, they're going to end up splashing me at some point. So you don't want to miss that. Keep watching. One of them is going to splash the hell out of me here in a minute, and I'm going to show you what being professional in the midst of that is like. So stick with me. But yeah, I want to hear from you. When things aren't going your way, what do you do? Do you bitch and whine and complain and or do you shift to other things and you press on anyway? And again, I've had many opportunities in the midst of just this first 35 days to stop, and things aren't going my way, but I've pressed on. I've kept going. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Going back to the top. Thank you for being here, guys. Good morning, Eating Clean. Thanks for being here. Hello, Linda. Chris says you can do it. Keep it up. Thank you. Kira says, have you looked into the exercises on somebody I've never heard of's posts? It helped me a lot. May also help your ankle. No, I don't know if this is an acute injury. I don't know if it's just because I have a lot of weight in the midsection still. I'm thinking, Kira, that the more I keep walking, it will strengthen that ankle area. And the more I keep losing body fat, that will also help. But I'll look into that, guy. I'm not discouraged. It hurts when I first start walking for some reason. And it just kind of came on. I think because I've been using my feet a lot more doing all these walks, my ankle's kind of like, all right, I was already a little tenuous. We're going to let you feel what it is. And see, now that I'm walking, and I've walked for a good bit now, it's loosened up, so it's a lot better. But it's kind of like that real early on in the walk, I'm literally limping. But thank you for the suggestion. Keep talking to me, guys. What you got for me on this topic? Bulletproof Coconut says, go, Jimmy. Thank you. Eating Clean. I was in a car accident. It prevented me from exercising for 2 years. I knew I could control my eating, stayed true to my diet until I could get to the gym again. And that's a great attitude, because things aren't going your way. You want to go to the gym, but you physically can't. So what you did was you shifted into doing something that you knew you could. And that was your part of pressing on. I remember my friend Brittany, in the midst of her 75 hard, she would have days that physically she would be unable to accomplish what she wanted to accomplish. So on those days, instead of exercising, she did something else. She'd end up reading 200 pages in a book. And so, while it's not exactly the same, just like your eating clean wasn't exactly the same as going to the gym, it was channeling that energy that you would put into one thing. And when things don't go your way with that one thing, you shift to another thing. And there's always something else you can work on. That's the beauty of a health journey, is you're not tied to just one thing. You can do a lot of things. And so that's part of pressing on as well, is shifting and then keep going. Woo! So if you're just joining in, guys, it's day number 35 of my Staybatical to 50. This is my 100-day journey to transform my body and my mind. One of the things I like to do is get out here on this morning walk And today in Spartanburg, South Carolina, it is raining. Cats and dogs. And so I got the umbrella out and I got my feet walking, doing it. I'm still waiting for one of these cars to barrel through here and give me a nice shower. So stay tuned. I'm almost sure that's going to happen before the end of this walk. You don't want to miss that. But I'm talking about this issue about when things don't go your way, what do you do? Do you use that as your excuse to give up? Or do you press on? Do you shift to other things? And I understand that's hard because we tell ourselves a lot of things in our minds that if I don't do X, then I have failed. We do that. And so you fool yourself into thinking X is the magic. X is not the magic. X is the means to the end, but it's not it. You can always make Y and Z and plan B and have other ways to push on, press on, keep going. I feel like this is where people just give up. And I, for one, don't want to hear anything of the sort. I know there's better ways. The fun part about being on this trail, by the way, with it raining, ain't nobody else out here but this crazy boy. Everybody else is dry and home sweet home because they're smart. Kira says, my only competition is me. I keep going because it's a better choice than staying put where I am. And look, Kira, you're on next level. Guys, if you haven't looked up Kira's story, she's been posting a lot of pictures on her Facebook page lately about the transformation that she's seen. And she's a jiu-jitsuer, obviously eats keto carnivore, and it's just, yeah, you're doing it. You're showing how it's done. You're showing that when things go another direction than you expected, why it's important to press on. And now you've reached that point mentally where nothing stops you except for yourself. And I know you well enough, Kira, to know you're not going to allow that. If there's any weak part of Kira, it's not mental. Mental's one of your strongest parts, so... And the mental gets you to the physical and all the things you need to do. Jan says, OMG, yes. I hear go vegan all the time because I'm not losing weight after a couple of years. Yeah, that's annoying as hell. I mean, I get it. When people think health journeys are only about nutrition, that's where they're going to go. And it's why in my own work, I've tried to talk about the negative role of stress. I've tried to talk about unresolved trauma. I've tried to talk about things that go on in your life. They're going to impact you. And people don't want to hear that. When they hear you say that, they hear you making an excuse for why you're not changing your diet. When they think diet is the be-all, end-all. Look, diet is a great foundation for making change. I will give you that. If you get your diet dialed in, that is the best first step in making sure that you're being set up for success when you're trying to pursue weight loss, health improvements. Sorry guys, there's a lot of deep puddles I'm trying not to step in, so I'm having to watch a little bit. And so the people that smugly say, well, that keto and carnivore ain't working for you, you might as well go vegan. I'm like, no, it's working just fine. And of course, they're predicating, quote, working on the weight. And I always say, my blood sugar's fine. My insulin is fine. My inflammation markers are fine. All the measures of health that matter, they're fine. So why would I go to a vegan diet when this one's doing just fine to help me keep those blood markers in order. Why would I change? And of course, they're like, you're still fat. Okay, I could starve myself and way under eat calories just to arbitrarily push my weight down. I could do that. Would I be healthy? No. If I go vegan, that's basically what you're doing. You're arbitrarily lowering your calories because you almost eliminate all fat on a vegan diet. Definitely all saturated fat. They don't like saturated fat. So you miss out on the amino acids, the essential amino acids, which I value muscle. It's hard to build muscle on a vegan diet. To get all those complete proteins, you need animal foods. So I dismiss their premise that I have to go on a vegan diet of all things. And I think this is where people get into trouble too. They hear people like that. And so they switch. Things aren't going your way, or people tell you, hey, things aren't going your way, you should probably change things up. And people start to believe that. And so they shift when the thing they were doing was working great for them in their health, and they needed to work on other things in their life, like the trauma, like the stress, to try to get the needle move on the weight. And like what I'm doing on this sabbatical is, yes, I'm eating carnivore, but then I'm also incorporating a 24-hour, at least 24-hour fast every other day. I'm also doing all these biohacking things, from sauna to ice baths to all the things, meditation, vibration plate, red light therapy, grounding, sun, all the things. And those are the things that are now moving the needle for me. So is it safe to say that the carnivore diet is now working for me when it, quote, didn't work before? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. And it's again back to the bio-individuality that yes, some people can just eat a diet and things will change. Other people need the diet plus some things. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm over the judgmentalness that, well, if you eat keto and carnivore, you should look like an Adonis. Yeah, fuck you. I'm tired of that. I think that just discourages so many people from even trying, because the parameter is how you look, how much weight you lost, and that's never, ever supposed to be your only goal. If it's your only goal, I encourage you to look at other parameters for health. Some of those things I mentioned earlier, blood sugar control, insulin, HSCRP for inflammation. There's just a lot of measures. And even the subjective measures of, do you feel more energy? Do you feel stronger? Are you able to go long periods of time between meals because you're so satiated? Those are things you cannot discount on a journey to health. Everything you're saying is exactly me, says Jan. Well, good. Jan, I feel like the things I'm articulating here today are more universal than people want to admit. I think because social media only shows the people talking about, oh, look how much weight I lost just eating carnivore. Isn't it beautiful? And if you just eat carnivore, you could be this too. I loathe that kind of content. And look, if that's you and you ate carnivore and you were able to change everything about your health because of it, kudos to you. Wonderful. Proud of you. So glad that happened for you. But please, please, please do not dismiss the people who have it harder than you. Don't dismiss that, okay, that worked for you, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for all of us. And so the moment we start looking at people as individuals and not as these monolithic beings that if we all just did the same widget diet, we would all get the same results. It doesn't work that way. Really doesn't work that way. All right, guys, I'm coming up on my halfway mark here in a second. Yesterday when I did the walk and I turned around back there at Caldwell Drive, I got home and the Oura Ring said I went 2.9 miles. I was like, no. I want to get in 3 miles at least. So yeah, that's a new feature they just added to my tracking ring that I wear. I would show you, but I'm holding the umbrella in one hand and I'm holding the phone in the other, but I wear this thing called the Oura Ring. Tracks my sleep primarily, but oh wow, look at these beautiful homes I'm passing. Really gorgeous homes. They're out here way in the boondocks of this little trail back here. A little quieter back here. I like it. So yes, please keep chiming in about when things don't go your way. What do? Do you press on? Do you give up? Do you shift? What's your strategy? Let me get past these low-hanging branches. They don't like my umbrella. Linda says, between our walks and my Zoom call with the ladies, we'll switch hands again. The pity party I was having finally switched off this morning. Yay. I'm back to being optimistic again. Thank you for the daily walks, Jimmy. You're welcome. And look, doing these walks with you guys and kind of your expectation that I'm going to be out here, that helps me. When things aren't going my way, that helps me to press on. And it's one reason I wanted to be very public about this, is I knew if I made it public, there was no hiding. There was no ability to be anonymous when things aren't going well. It's so easy when you got no accountability to anybody. It's so easy when you're going it alone and you're being quiet about your journey. It's very tempting and very easy to convince yourself when things don't go your way to just stop. Nobody would know. Nobody's looking at me. Nobody even knows I'm on this journey. But that's when you need to remind yourself, you know, and you have a lot of goals. It's why when you go on a journey, tell somebody, at least somebody, and have them walk alongside you, check in on you, not to judge you, but to hold you accountable. And if you're like Kira, you can hold yourself accountable. That's great. Not everybody is like you, Kira. To be able to be your own best advocate, a lot of people, they kind of need that push of accountability, which is what I'm trying to serve here, coming on every day. And look, when I start day 51 and you guys start day 1, I'm going to challenge you to come up with your own 50-day journey. I'm going to be holding you accountable. I'm going to ask you what you're doing and have you come on my lives and tell me about how it's going. So that's coming up here real soon. Just over 2 weeks from now is when you start on your journey. So if you're joining me, let me hear from you. I'd love to hear what you're planning on doing to challenge yourself. I stop, I pray, and I keep moving, says Laurel. Yes. And reminding yourself of why you're doing what you're doing. When I started this journey on September 1st, I knew why I was doing this. I'm trying to reach my 50th birthday, coming in December, and feeling great. And loving the way I look, or at least on the way to loving this body, the way it looks. Feeling good in my own skin. All the things. And all that keeps me going. I've got a lot of plans in my life still. And it's not going to work unless I invest in me and my body. In fact, yesterday, with the internet being down, if you live on Instagram and Facebook, you might have missed my podcast that came out yesterday called One Step Deeper Podcast. That's the one I do with Brittany. And we talked about how your physical health is just as important in a personal development journey. So if you're trying to develop yourself, a lot of people work on mindset and they work on other kind of emotional types of issues, but they forget about the physical body and your physical health. But that's just as important. So she talked about her 75 hard plan. I talked about my Stay-Batical 250 plan. And we underscore that it's an important part of this. So go check that out, you guys, if you missed it. OneStepDeeperPodcast.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts, just type in One Step Deeper or Jimmy Moore, you'll find it. And it's a big part to help you keep moving. Holly says, I like to complain a little, but I also love to analyze and shift. Yes, look, thank you for that, Holly. I think sometimes what happens is our initial reaction is, oh man, and you kind of have that little pity party and you whine a little bit. Look, I think that's okay. We're very human still. Sorry, my phone is getting wet, so I had to wipe it off. We're still very human. And so have that. But the key is for a moment. And I love what you say there. You start to analyze, though. You don't stay in the pity. You start to analyze. You start to learn from it, grow from it. And then you shift into things that you can do. So I love that plan, Holly. Lovely, lovely plan. Holly said, another Holly, Survivalist Nutrition. Her name is Holly. And then Holly K21121. I was kind of blah yesterday. I sat out in the sun. I felt so much better. Yes. We devalue the power of nature. Nature being sun, exposure, grounding, meditation, and breath work. I think we got all those things at our disposal whenever we want them to help calm us down when we do get anxious about things going sideways and not going our way. Use those, guys. I can tell you, since I started getting real serious about the meditation, I'm enjoying that now a whole lot more than I ever did. In the last couple of days, I've not only meditated, I've meditated while being in an ice bath. And it's been glorious. I'm in the ice bath for about an hour. And so at about the 50-minute mark of being in there, I will turn on a 10-minute meditation. And it's been glorious. Glorious to meditate while in the cold water. Really, really good. But I'm glad the sun helped you, Holly K. Angie says, got a walk-in really early before dawn today. Blustery morning, pouring down rain overnight. Yes. Pouring down rain here. Thunder, lightning. But I got goals. I can't let a little weather stop me from my goals. And so here we are. There's the thunder. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Tahar says, watching you on your Stay-Batical journey has helped me not to give up on my carnivore journey during a large stall. Thank you for helping me stay positive. You're welcome, but I'm going to help you even more. This is just for you, Tahar Man. Put the scale away, because large, quote, stall, end quote, means you're weighing yourself. And this is why on my journey, you have not heard me talk about how many pounds I've lost. I don't care. This is why on my journey, you're not hearing me quantify how this is going beyond showing you pictures. I showed a picture on day like 12 or 13 after day 1. I showed day 1, then I showed day 13. I think the last time I did it was day 27, and I'm currently on day 35, so probably next week I'll show another picture. But it's why that's the only way you're hearing me quantify this. And what does that do? It frees you to just do the thing. I feel like we go on a journey and we feel like we have to quantify it in the moment, in real time. And look, if that's a motivational factor for you, great. But more times than not, it's going to discourage you. And it's going to make you feel like you're not doing great because you're looking at one parameter to let you know your success or failure on it. I would argue that weight loss should not be your primary reason for being carnivore. I would argue that being well fed and nourished with all the complete amino acids that your body needs to function and fatty acids, that's what it does for you primarily. And through that, you get stronger, you get mentally more fit and resilient, and you just do the thing. And make sure that you're eating ample amounts when you do eat. And if you feel like it, you want to incorporate some periods of fasting, that's great too. But that's the primary reason you do it. The fact that you even know you're in a, quote, large stall. I don't even know what that means. Large stall? I don't know how far you are in your journey. If you're 6 months in and you've been, quote, stalled for a month, that ain't no stall. That's your body adjusting. That's your body saying, all right, I see what you're doing up there. Hang tight. We're going to move some things around. You're going to keep losing fat. You're going to keep gaining muscle, but it's not going to show up on a weight scale. So you're going to think you've stalled when you haven't stalled at all. You're just shifting. You're getting stronger. You're still burning fat. Your body's being sculpted. I hate this verbiage of the diet world. I've stalled out of my weight, so I guess it's just stopped working. Yeah, screw that. When I did the Atkins diet in 2004, I lost 100 pounds in the first 100 days. Unbelievable. So unbelievable that my body said, aight, we gave you that little boost there at the beginning. Now we're going to go 10 weeks in a row and you ain't going to lose a single pound. And like everybody else, I got upset by that. But I was like, well, wait a minute. I'm doing so well. I lost 100 pounds. Why would I be upset? So while I wanted it to be linear of continuing that same trend of weight loss that I had seen, it was unreasonable. So for you, Taharman, I would say, put the scale away, just do the thing, just do the diet, do all the things you're doing. Then you don't know you're in a, quote, large stall. You don't know you are because you're not quantifying that way. If you want to measure inches, that's cool. If you want to pay attention to subjective things like how you feel, satiety, energy levels, all the things, that's cool. But get off the scale. Sounds like it's discouraging you, and I'm glad I've been able to give you a positive mindset, but sounds like you put yourself in the position to be in a negative mindset by only quantifying your journey based on a gravity detecting device, which I abhor. Have you noticed I hate the scale? The lying liar that lies? I do. I hate it. It trips up more people on their way to getting healthy than probably anything. That scale. send it to my house in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and I will sledgehammer the hell out of it for you. Yeah. You don't need it. But I hope that helps you out. Holly says, if you're not changing it, you're choosing it. Ooh, Holly with the zinger. Yes. If it's something that needs to be changed, but you don't, you're choosing that thing. You're saying, I'm okay with this. Wow, Holly, I like that. That's a bumper sticker to remember. If you're not changing it, you're choosing it. That's good stuff, Holly. Thank you. Jan says, I may be overweight, but my vegan friends are all on Zoloft and Xanax. They have multiple autoimmune issues. I feel good, no issues except for the weight. That's the funny thing. A lot of the vegans brag about their weight because you're lacking in the amino acids. They're actually lacking not just in body fat, but also muscle. A lot of them are emaciated. Some of them even have bone loss. And so all of that makes them look thin. They think thin equals healthy. And as you're pointing out, you could be thin and still have a lot of underlying conditions. Autoimmune being just one of them, but then there's like vitamin B12 deficiency. There's a lot of issues with a vegan diet, which is why this big push for us to all go vegan and eat plant-based burgers and get away from red meat. I'm like, that's an agenda-driven thing. That has nothing to do with your health. Eat the meat, which is what I'm doing on my journey. Bulletproof Coconut. I've been through a lot of failures, but I refuse to ever let them stop me. I noted this yesterday. You cannot succeed without the stepping stones of failing. People think failing is this worst possible thing in the world. Failing just means you're one step closer to the success. So if you feel like you've failed a lot in your life on various things, I want you to remember Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln started off running for a local race in Illinois, and he lost. Then he ran for Congress, and he lost. Then he ran for a senator in the state of Illinois, and he lost. At that point, he might have said to himself, Abraham, I don't think you're meant to be in office. I don't think you're meant for anything more than what you're doing, being a statesman and all the things that you are. You should probably give up. I'm sure a lot of those thoughts went through his head. But the next thing he ran for was President of the United States. And for the first time in his life, all those failures that he had had up until that point finally led to the first time in his life winning anything. He became the 16th president of the United States of America. I have always remembered that story when I hear about people saying they failed. And I always smile when I hear people say they failed, because I know failure is that stepping stone to success, and you need to look at it that way. You didn't work out on one thing. All right, keep going. Things didn't go your way. You press on. Abraham Lincoln, after losing the local race. Okay, well, I guess if I can't win a local race, there's no sense in running for a national race. And yet he did. And failed again and again until he ran for president. And then he won. And now he's considered one of the greatest presidents in the history of America. Not bad for a failure, huh? Texas Carnivore Ranch Wife, I'm going to go walk. Thank you for all you do. Awesome. A lot of people go out walking with me when I'm walking, so I love that. I got to be on a recording yesterday for a summit. I'll be on this keto diet summit this Saturday. And he was wanting me to talk about mindset. I'm like, dude, I talk mindset stuff every day on my morning walks. So he was like, yeah, I watch those. You're amazing, he said. And he said, bring some of that to the summit. So I did. And I was telling him that when I started this, I had no idea I'd have a bunch of people wanting to come out walking with me. So thank you for being one of them. Mudfoot says, slow weight loss is better. I've kept 50 pounds off being the turtle in this journey. I'm going to push back on that a little bit. I think you just let the weight loss come as it comes. Everybody said, oh, it needs to be slow. I get the reason why it should be slow, so you learn healthy lifestyles. But look, if you start eating well and doing all the things, I don't think you put parameter. Whoa, it's really, hang on guys, it's like a river there. Yeesh, I didn't want to step in that. That was at least 4 inches deep, and I was not going to step my shoes into that. You start on a diet and you start doing, let's say what I'm doing now. If what I have lost is considered slow, then I'm doing it the right way. But if I lost it fast, I'm doing it wrong. No, I don't believe in this. It has to be slow. And plus, it depends on where you start. If you're 500 pounds when you start a journey, you don't want 2-pound weight loss a week. You will quit. You want a fast amount to come off, and then it will slow naturally. I think this whole idea of, oh, it has to be slow, or you're losing too much weight. I lost 15 pounds the first week that I did Atkins back in 2004. I lost 15 pounds that first week. I was 410 to start. And of course, I was a carb addict. So getting off the crappy garbage lowered a lot of water weight, water retention. And so I think it's silly to say it has to be slow. Look, if that works for you, I'm happy, Mudfoot, that you're doing it slow and that's helping you in your journey. But I think demanding that of all people, that it must be slow or it's not effective or not good, I don't buy that. If you're 400 pounds and you can lose 100 pounds in 100 days, kudos. Do it. And then it'll slow down from there. But again, not weighing, you would never know if it's fast, slow. You're just doing the thing. And you're just letting what happen come to you. Another reason why I don't like the scale. You're losing weight too fast. And then the really horrible one is all these people that harangue you about losing weight, and then you do lose weight, and you get down to a good weight, then they're like, oh, you've lost too much weight. Yeah, screw you. You can't have it both ways. You can't both tell me I need to lose weight, then when I do lose weight, I've lost too much weight. I know a lot of you understand what I'm talking about. I hate that mentality. People just need to STFU because this is your journey. That's why when people say, how much weight have you lost? I'm like, heck if I know. I have no idea. And I don't care. It's obvious I'm losing weight with the pictures. Kira says, when people say, wow, you look great, I tell them, but more importantly, I feel great. What's the point of being smaller and feeling like shit on the daily? Yes. I've always hated that phrase too, Kira. Wow, you look great. I always want to come back with, well, did I look like crap before? You should look at the blood seep out of the faces of people when you say that to them. Wow, did I look ugly before? Like I look great now, but was I horrible, horrific looking before? They don't know how to handle that. But yes, how you feel is way more important. And in the midst of this journey, day 35, I'm on this journey, I can say I feel measurably better than I did on day 1. Even though I've got the little tweaks in the ankles and the little knee thing, I'm still feeling way better than when I started. I feel lighter. I feel smaller. It helps that all my shirts that were kind of getting on the tight side are now loosey-goosey. So that's a good sign. A lot of belly fat loss in this journey so far. My arms and my legs really didn't have much weight on them. I guess I've lost a little bit of weight in the face as well, but most of it has been right smack dab in the middle of the body, which is my target. I wanted to lose that belly fat because that's the dangerous kind if it stays there a long time. And I know that. And so taking care of that has been issue number one. Bulletproof Coconut Tony Robbins has said people are addicted to their problems, since some people rather focus on issues instead of doing something to change their life. I think that's brilliant from Tony Robbins. Thank you, Bulletproof Coconut. I think also people identify as their problem. So when someone has been obese their whole life, they identify as the obese person. And I actually had somebody on YouTube just yesterday comment on one of my videos, my morning updates. And she said, I don't fear failure. I actually fear success. And I was like, that's curious. She went on to say, I fear that I won't like the changes that I get. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. If you know you need to make changes, it's the fear of what those changes will mean. And I think it came down to what I just was talking about. People identify as who and what they are with their problem. So if you're the fat funny guy, you fear that if you lose weight, you're no longer going to be what you've been. Now, never mind, you could be better than you were. Your identification, though, is wrapped up in who you are right now, even in the midst of problem, even when you know and you acknowledge that it's a problem, you still want to just stay put. And that's an issue. That's a big issue. A lot of people just so identify, well, I'm type 2 diabetic. So then they go keto and get their blood sugar under control. And they're like, now what am I? If I'm not my problem, what am I now? And this is where a lot of work on your mind can shift you to thinking of who you really are. You're never your disease. You're never your weight. Those things describe you in the moment maybe, but they're not you. Figure out who you are. Maybe I'll do a whole morning talk just on figuring out who you are, who you really are. Because that's a big one. Miss Susie says, I get so much out of your podcast with Brittany. How did you guys meet? Look forward to your book. Both of you are heroes. Thank you, Miss Susie. So so that's the One Step Deeper podcast. Airs on Mondays. We debut on video on YouTube on Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Just type in One Step Deeper, you'll find it. But Brittany, 2.5 years ago, she was keto and she was getting interested in fasting. And so she got a copy of my book, The Complete Guide to Fasting, and she posted it on social media here on Instagram. She posted it and then tagged me, hey, I'm reading this book, go check it out. So I reached out to her, as I do with anybody that tags me. I thanked her for sharing about the book, and I said, hey, if you've got any questions about fasting, I'd be happy to help. So she said, yeah, I've got some questions. So I said, and I've done this a lot, here's my phone number, just give me a call. So we got on the phone, and I realized she's also in South Carolina, a couple hours down the road from me. And so we talked about fasting, and we talked about keto, And then we started getting into life stuff. And we found out we both shared childhood trauma. She was sexually abused at 12, and I was physically and emotionally abused from 13 to 17. And so we bonded over that. Woo! I'm glad I'm almost home. And what's funny about our relationship, our friendship, is she's 29 years old. I'm 49 years old. A Gen Xer and a millennial are not supposed to get along, but we do. Now, we disagree on a lot of things, but we've influenced each other a lot. So the friendship just built from there to the point that we wanted to do a podcast together, which we're doing. And as you alluded to, we are writing a book together called The One Step Deeper Journal, which, if you like my mindset stuff I'm doing here in the mornings on this morning walk, you're going to love that journal. So early 2022 we'll come out with that journal. Stay tuned. But thank you, Miss Susie. Beer and potato chips are vegan. I love that, Del Norte. Yes. It's amazing to me that they will look at like a real foods-based keto or carnivore diet and call it junk simply because they see saturated fat and fat in general as unhealthy and junky. And yet they have no problem with sugar and starch and all the things. And at the end of the day, look, if you like that way of eating, of no fat and lots of sugar and starch, and that makes you happy and you reach all your health goals, go for it. I have no problem with that. I'm not going to judge you for that. That's your call. The problem is they can't help themselves for judging us for eating animal foods. And if we all just supported people on whatever journey they're on, look, I'll give Brittany as an example again. She's not eating keto anymore. She's doing a macros diet now. And she's eating a lot lower in fat than I would, more carbs than I would. But that's her journey. I wouldn't judge her for that, especially since I know it's working for her and it's helping her and she feels good on that. It's none of my business. And she supports me in my carnivore diet, even though she herself is not personally doing it. So it is amazing, all these diet wars. I've got a podcast coming out on Thursdays, Real Talk podcast this week with Chris Bear from the Keto Chow Company. And we talk about this kind of being divided about how you eat. And it's crazy. Just respect how people choose to eat. And look, if it's wrong for them, they'll figure it out. It may take them a while. They might be stubborn and dig in their heels on it, but they'll figure it out if they need to shift. People need to mind their own body. Yes, exactly, Bulletproof Coconut. Mind your own body. Do what you're going to do. And it's nobody's business what you choose to do. I'm the ex-beer and potato chip guy who is on a better journey now. Yes, Del Norte. Exactly. No more potato chips and beer for you. So guys, it's day 35 of my stay-batical to 50. I am still rocking it. And yeah, a little bit of rain today, it ain't gonna stop me. I will tell you, if I wasn't live on Instagram, I probably would not have even brought this umbrella. I only brought it to protect my phone from getting waterlogged. I love this journey. It's given me a lot of dividends. And the beautiful thing is not stepped on that scale. I don't need to. And if I could impart that wisdom to you guys to just put away the scale, watch how your mental health changes when you stop weighing so obsessively. And again, I used to be a slave to the scale. I get it. You step on the scale, it goes down, you get excited. I get it. There's a thrill that comes from that, a motivation. And especially early on, you see a lot of weight come off fast. You're so motivated. And yet, the longer you go on, you might see the reality of weighing daily, especially. The reality of it going up on one day, not realizing that a couple more days, it'll be down again. But that one temporary day will just give you a sour attitude. And I hate that. So if I had to impart some wisdom on you, I'd say put away the scale. If you have to step on it once a month, could you do just once a month stepping on a scale? So start your journey. That's the starting weight. Do all the things you're going to do and step on the scale. No expectations, just step on it. And if you lost 5 pounds, you lost 5 pounds. Woohoo! If you lost 15 pounds, you lost 15 pounds. Woohoo! And then you can't compare what you lost in the first month with the second and third month. You can't compare. I think we do that, and that gets us in trouble as well. This is why I just put the whole thing away, and I no longer play the game. It's just not worth it. Healthy Mission Wellness, well done on your perseverance. Thank you. I am dogged at being successful on this. I am committed to making sure I'm doing everything I can within my power to succeed and for this sabbatical to do what I want it to do, which is transform my body and my mind. And 35 days into my 100 days, I'm doing it. I'm loving it. I'm not letting things that don't go my way get me down. I'm pressing on and I'm doing all the things. And I encourage you to do the same in your own health journey. Again, guys, if you miss any of my past episodes, go to livinlavitalowcarb.com/staybatical. If you look in the show notes of this video, you will see a link you can click on. And go see all the updates if you missed anything. I got a lot of people saying, hey, I heard you're doing this sabbatical thingy. Tell me more. And I'm like, go to that website. That's where everything is. So thank you guys for hanging out here today. I am almost home, so I'm going to sign off for now. It's just hard to do with one hand. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.